You know, the great poet Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, and I'm paraphrasing here, never miss an opportunity to see something beautiful, because beauty is God's handwriting. Well, if beauty is God's handwriting here on Earth, then he sure had a lot to say when he created Brazil. The land is beautiful. The Amazon basin to the west, picturesque coastlines to the east, and wildlife, vegetation, and mountains seemingly everywhere in between. The sights alone here in this country of over 200 million people will take your breath away. Oh, and about those 200 million people, man, what a beautiful life living, song singing, dancing mix of people they are. A mix that began when Portuguese nobleman, and I don't think this guy was all that noble, Pedro Álvares Cabral, with the backing of the Portuguese government, discovered, the word discovered being in air quotes, the place that we now call Brazil. More Portuguese soon followed him, many of them with African slaves in tow, and an eclectic mix of black, brown, and white was born. While the history of both African enslavement and the colonization of Brazil's natives by the Portuguese was, and for many still is, wrought with a great deal of pain, singer-songwriter Winter Gordon put it best when she said, and again, I'm paraphrasing here, there is beauty in pain, and everyone experiences pain and its lessons. So, what lessons does Brazil's second most populous city, Rio de Janeiro, have to teach? We are Jamil and Idris, twin brothers, medical doctors, world travelers. Our passion? We wander the globe in search of the people, the places, and the things that uniquely affect health, wellness, the human body, and the human condition. Double trouble? Double delightful, double insightful, double informative, double quirky? Yeah, we'd like to think so. Renaissance men? Yeah, we'd like to think so. After all, you never know where we're going to end up next. This is our journey. This is the Globe on Call. I know you guys remember Rio, right? Olympic Games, summer 2016? Yeah, that Rio. Well, if you remember that Rio, then you probably also remember that summer's Zika hysteria.
We got a sobering update on Zika today. The nation's top health officials warning that the Zika virus appears to be a lot scarier than first thought.
This is believed to be a first. The first time that a baby has been born in the United States with microcephaly.
There is a growing outbreak of a mosquito-borne virus that is linked to birth defects.
When all was said and done and the games left, so too did much of the Zika coverage. But make no mistake, the Zika epidemic forever changed the lives of many of Brazil's poorest women and children.
If the sun should fall and the dancing we once did become a crawl.
Today, many of them can be found living among Rio's 786 favelas. Mountainside, low-income urban communities once built by former soldiers and newly freed Afro-Brazilian slaves. Social outcasts who, unable to find work and housing in the city, retreated to the fertile mountainside terrain where fava beans grew. As night began to fall, it wasn't in a favela, but instead in Duque de Caxias, a low-income, high-crime suburb just north of Rio that we visited the home of Zika sufferer Fabiane Lopez and her three daughters Ana Julia, Duda, and Valentina. That's Ana Julia leading Dr. Ryan to their sparsely furnished three-room home. Before sitting down with the family, Fabiana offered a light-hearted warning about what might happen if we moved around too much on her old furniture.
Cuidado, ver se essa aí tá boa pra ele. Porque se a Aline botou ele pra fora, que ela tá ruim, tá? Você foi pegar essa cadeira.
Once comfortable, Fabiane told us that she and youngest daughter Valentina's plight with the devastating infection began with a simple rash that appeared during the 4th month of her pregnancy.
Eu bati a última, eu tava com 4 meses. 4 meses para 5, caminhando para 5, foi quando eu descobri.
Primarily something seen in the northeast of Brazil at the time of Fabiana's infection, she assumed that she had dengue fever. Her doctors, though, initially thought that it was something else.
Aí o que aconteceu? Eu fui diagnosticada com rubéola.
After another month and more testing, though,
depois de 5 meses, 6 meses para lá, que foi que eles começaram a tratar como a Zika. Porque descartaram a rubéola, descartaram o citamegalovírus.
Now in Brazil, when deemed medically necessary, abortion is legal.
Foi dada a oportunidade de eu escolher. Não deixar ela vir. Porque ela era bem comprometida.
This meant that Fabiana and her partner had a decision to make. Valentina's dad wanted to abort, but Fabiana refused. So
foi porque ele achava que era melhor tirar. E não dar a oportunidade dela vir ao mundo.
And when he left, Valentina's dad made his feelings very clear.
Não, ele falou que se eu tivesse ela, que se ela dependesse de um pacote de fralda dele, que ele não daria. Que ele queria mais que ela morresse. Que eu sabia o que ele pensava dela.
So why did Fabiana decide against abortion?
Eu sempre tive na minha cabeça que só quem tem direito de tirar a vida é Deus. Se ele deu a vida, só ele que pode tirar. E se tava ali, era porque tinha que ser meu. Se Deus me deu, é meu e eu tenho que aceitar. Hoje a minha filha, eu tenho que ir para o hospital, lutar por ela, porque não é fácil. Então, se ele me deu, eu tenho essa missão aqui na Terra e essa missão vai ser cumprida. Em momento nenhum eu vou fraquejar.
It hasn't always been easy for Fabiana, though. Raised an evangelical Christian who believed that nothing happens by chance, Fabiana says that there were many times after Valentina's birth that her faith was truly tested.
É assim, eu costumo falar assim, que nada é por acaso, né? Demorou 1 ano para eu poder chegar até onde eu tô hoje. E o momento que eu fui, foi um momento, não esquenta se eu chorar não, porque eu choro toda vez que eu conto. E foi um momento assim, que quando eu fui fazer essa visita lá, no centro, foi um momento que eu realmente precisava. Onde eu já não tinha mais
In search of solace, she visited a local Umbanda church. Found primarily in southern Brazil, the Umbanda religion combines elements of African spiritualism, Roman Catholicism, and indigenous Mesoamerican theology. Practitioners of the religion worship the god Olorum, and they believe in the sanctity of life in large part because they believe that every soul's spiritual evolution is reached through the process of reincarnation. After joining the Umbanda church, Fabiana says that she noticed a change in Valentina's condition.
Depois que a gente entrou no Umbanda, a Valentina hoje em dia de 30, 40 convulsão, a Valentina só dá convulsão quando tá com algum problema. Com alguma infecção, com febre, essas coisas.
And Fabiana has faith that Valentina will continue to improve.
Eu acredito e tenho fé. Como ela não sorria, não se mexia, e hoje ela me dá sorriso, hoje ela conhece a minha voz. Então eu acredito que mais pra frente ela vai fazer. Eu sei que tudo é no tempo dela e no tempo de Deus.
But there are still challenges. For starters, Brazil's National Health Service only covers Valentina's physical therapy. But the truth is, children with microcephaly need much more than just physical therapy.
Agora ela tá só com a fisioterapia. A gente está ainda na luta para poder conseguir a respiratória e a fono, a fisioterapia teórica, ocupacional, que ela ainda não tem, fora os outros tratamentos que a gente não tem cobertura aqui.
What's more, many of the families touched by Brazil's Zika epidemic report that they struggle to gain wider acceptance from Brazilian society as a whole. Fabiane says that this has led many families afflicted to remain silently in the shadows.
Não gosta de expor, que acha que está expondo, porque a gente sofre muito também preconceito. O que mais a gente luta é pela inclusão, que eles têm que ser incluídos na sociedade, né? E aceitar os nossos filhos como eles são. E muitos não aceitam, entendeu?
For many children with microcephaly, remaining silently in the shadows has meant being unable to go to school.
Já era pra Valentina estar estudando, só que aqui eu não tenho uma escola que eu possa colocar a minha filha. Eu fui ver a escola e ela falou que eu precisava de entrar na justiça para ter uma mediadora para poder cuidar dela dentro da escola. No caso ao contrário, eu ficava na escola com ela 24 horas. 24 horas
Unable to put Valentina in school, and with Valentina requiring round-the-clock care, Fabiane is unable to work.
Ela vai ficar dentro da creche, mas eu achava assim, porque o tempo que ela tá dentro da escola, eu poderia correr atrás de outras coisas para me fazer, até mesmo uma faxina, um biscatinho, para poder eu ganhar um dinheiro, porque só o benefício, ele não só. Ali, aquele benefício pra gente só não dá.
This means that she and her family must rely on government benefits, but the reality is that those benefits aren't enough. She shared her expenses with us and simply put, things are tight.
Só que eu não sei onde eu enfiei. Eu tenho esse grande problema.
But it doesn't have to be this difficult. With more financial help, with an opportunity for Valentina to go to school, with more physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and respiratory therapy, Fabiane believes that Valentina and children like Valentina
eles podem, que eles são capazes, né? E cada dia que passa eles mostram pra gente que eles podem, que eles têm coração, que eles são igual a gente. Eles têm a diferença deles, têm a deficiência deles, mas se todos amar e aceitar.
But these children need lots of care, and this fact was evident when Valentina began to have difficulty breathing during our visit.
People believe.
Dá licença, eu vou pegar ali porque eu vou dar uma inspirada nela.
Zika often lays waste to a developing baby's brain, and a healthy, fully functioning brain is necessary to prevent the buildup of fluid in the airways. Because the suctioning process can be a bit disturbing, Fabiane preferred that we not film it. Honestly, listening to Valentina's cries during the suctioning was tough. Imagine if that was your child. Imagine if you had to hear that multiple times a day. In addition to the frequent need for suctioning, Valentina also has a leaky feeding tube that requires constant care. She's been on the waiting list to have it surgically revised for a while now. This has meant that Fabiane has had to get creative to help maintain it. Adding to Fabiane's difficulties is the fact that her older daughter, Ana Julia, also has a disability.
Ela tem a macrocrania.
Macrocrania, or an overly enlarged head, is often symptomatic of another underlying brain disorder. And yet through it all, Fabiane, Valentina, Ana Julia, Duda, and so many families like theirs in Brazil, they persevere. So yes, friends, there is beauty in pain, and in life everyone experiences pain and its lessons. As we thank God for the beautiful story that is Brazil and its people, we hope that with all suffering will one day come ease.